Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to the second video in my whole wedding planning series. This one is actually a general Q&A and I'm sure in some of the answers I'm going to be saying I'm going to be doing a whole video on that soon. I hope that it's helpful and I hope it's not too long. Let's get started straight away. The first question is, how did you make your hijab stick? I didn't make my hijab stick. I had a hijab stylist for my wedding day, and then I had my makeup artist for my Valima day. She also did my hijab, like my turban underneath. The hijab stylist, I paid her around £80. She was really good. She made sure that my hijab was in place the whole time. It didn't move about too much. I think it went back a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. And her herself as a person she was lovely. Like, she stayed with me for long when she had the barat came, and everyone left me by myself in the bridal room, and she was so sweet. She was like, "Do you want me to stay with you?" And I was like, "No, like, you've got a family wedding to go to yourself, like you should go, but thank you." And she was just really nice, so I do really recommend her. And she basically asked me to bring some hijabs that I wanted to use, and I just chose a couple of cotton ones, different shades of red, and she used all sorts of things inside the bun and like on top of the bun to create volume so that the dupatta sticks on top of the turban hijab. I could not have done that by myself. You guys know what I'm like with hijab. Even this is a reach for me, like I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone, but I definitely could not have done it by myself, and I'm so happy that I invested in her. And then on my Valima, the lady who did the hijab, she was actually, like, she's not really used to doing hijabs, but she did a good job. It was a little bit too big, I would say, from the back, but it still looked fine, and it balanced my dupatta on my head perfectly, and it looked nice, and it stayed in Scottish wind, which is saying something, so they both did a really good job. And next question, did you wear anything puffy under your dress to make it stick out more? No, most dresses will come with the netting inside, so you'll have like a little ring inside the skirt of your dress, and that will be padded out with netting which will puff it out. And you'll be able to see like what your dress is like when you also go dress shopping and you start trying them on. When you go dress shopping, you'll see like how heavy dresses are as well, and it will be a good idea to really see if you feel like you can spend your whole wedding day in it, because yes, you can get some really elaborate over the top beautiful gowns, but if you're sitting there super uncomfortable because it's weighing you down and it's ruining your wedding day, it's not really worth it in my opinion. On my wedding day, I definitely had like the puffiness going on, but it was a gown, there was no train, and because it was a gown, number one, it made me look slimmer and taller, and number two, the weight was like resting on my shoulders, and I felt like it almost helped me to sort of sit up and improve my posture as well. But yeah, I didn't have anything extra underneath, it just came with the dress. The next question is, was red always your first option for your wedding dress? Definitely. I always wanted to be a traditional Pakistani bride in that sense and wear red, and because it was December, red velvet, it just was a must. But then for the Valima, I didn't really have like any colour ideas in mind. Like at first I was like, maybe pink would be quite nice and feminine, but then I was very open to trying on different dresses, and when I tried on the one that I actually ended up going with, like everyone in the room, my khalas, my mum, my nanny were just like, wow, that dress is amazing. And we didn't change the Valima dress at all. The wedding dress, like you will have seen in my wedding dress video, hopefully, like, it was very different before. It was actually a two-piece lehenga, and we had it customized, and they did an amazing job. So anything that you're wondering about in terms of the dress, definitely go and check out the video. I'll leave it down below. I've given you all the details, all the names, all the contacts, and before and after pictures as well. Someone said, what to gift in-laws in the lead up to the wedding, other events, birthdays, Eids, and for your wedding. I think it's just up to you and the family, but I think it's important to talk about it with the family and to make sure that you're on the same page. But like for us, like it was our first wedding in our family in 18 years, so there was a lot of things about it that was quite daunting because we just did not know, like, you know, what the new trends are, what the cultural thing to do is, and you know, if certain cultural things still exist. And basically, we just made sure that every single member of the immediate family got a nice gift, and that can be like for the men, like shirts and perfume sets; for the women, like a nice handbag, jewelry set, perfume, makeup, that sort of thing. And you can either like put it in a hamper and label for each person, or you can do gift bags. It's up to you really. Obviously, depending on your budget, like you can spend between sort of 30 to 100 per person. That is something that does definitely add to the whole wedding expense list as well, and there's definitely ways you can be smart about it. So obviously now we're in October. If you're getting married next year, the very smart thing to do would be to take advantage of all the amazing sales that are about to come up and all the amazing gifts that are about to come out as well for Christmas time. Take advantage, pick them up now, and they'll definitely be helpful for you when you're creating your gifts for your in-laws. In terms of birthdays and Eids, it's up to you if you want to like be giving gifts before you get married for birthdays and stuff. I don't think it's the end of the world like if you don't, to be honest with you. You can ask your other half what they'd want. I didn't get my husband anything for his birthday before our wedding. I figured like inshallah we've got the rest of our lives to get each other gifts, and right now like both of us agreed that we'd rather than buying each other gifts in the run up to the wedding, we'd rather just put the money into the wedding and the marriage itself. Can you give us a 1 year booking breakdown, like what to book from the date of the engagement, etc.? No, I can't, I'm afraid, because we didn't have 1 month. It was agreed that, you know, we were going to get married like sort of at the beginning of summertime, and we wanted to get married in the holidays, in a holiday period that worked for both sides. And obviously I'm a teacher, so I definitely didn't want to be getting married in the next summer holidays. Personally, I didn't want to wait a whole year because my plan was to be going to Dubai, as you guys know. That didn't work out, but obviously that was my plan. So then that left us with either the Christmas holidays or the Easter holidays, and I just knew, based on the fact that I was in year 6, that if we waited until Easter time, it'd be very stressful for me, because that is a time when your class is gearing up for SATs, and typically you have a lot more stress on your plate. The December holidays worked best, and so we based the date on the fact that the first day of the holidays was going to be our wedding date, and then we'd have 2 weeks to kind of settle in, take it all in, have family events, davets, etc. We basically planned our wedding in literally 4 or 5 months, and it wasn't as stressful as you might think, because I will go into some other videos, but like I had a wedding planning book, literally one I got from Primark, and I also used an app called Bridebook, which is amazing. It's a free app, and they basically help you to keep on track of things, and I was using both the app and the book side by side to just make sure that like I'd covered as much as I could. And then I was talking to family about it all the time, and you know, checking in with them that I'd like done this and that so and so sorted this, and etc etc. So, and someone said, did you have makeup trials? So I did actually go to Charlotte Tilbury to just see what their like glam makeup would be like, and it was a bit of a treat for mum as well, because basically you pay like £60, get a free makeover, and then you can redeem that £60 in store and buy things with it. So I put that in for me and my mum, and as much as it was a nice experience, it was like, oh no, I definitely could not like go to a beauty counter and have my makeup done, because they just don't do it the way, you know, we are used to. And all I wanted to have flawless skin, I wanted to have a lovely red lip and sort of smoky eyes. So no, I didn't have a trial. The lovely Sophie, she did my makeup, and she was amazing, and she came and she did my mum's makeup first, and she did my makeup, and she was lovely, and I was really happy with the way my makeup looked on the day. I was really happy with the way it photographs, and I didn't have a trial. And personally, like, so Sophie like gifted me my wedding makeup. Like, she was really sweet that she didn't charge me, but we did pay for the Valima makeup, and that was what I would say reasonable. It was a couple of £100, But personally, I really strongly like I respect everyone's trade, I respect everyone's hustle, but I personally think it is so wrong that makeup artists are out there charging 800 to a grand plus for a day's worth of makeup. I just don't think that's fair at all. Like, that grand is gonna go so much further in like a deposit for a place for the new couple. Weddings are so expensive as it is that I just think this whole trend of charging upwards of a grand for makeup that you're going to wash off, I find that really hard to get my head around. I was shocked at the prices and the cost of getting married, and it just kept making me think, like, this is why people don't want to get married, because it's such a huge investment. Like, you're basically, you either like have a wedding or you put down a deposit on a place. You know, like, it's just ridiculous. And yes, you can definitely sit there and argue and say, no, hang on, you don't have to have a traditional typical wedding that like those people have. I wouldn't say my wedding was like my big fat Asian wedding, like it wasn't over the top, but there were certain things that you just have to pay for. Like, you can't skip out and go budget for everything. And alhamdulillah, I was very lucky in terms of my makeup where that was concerned, especially because it was short notice, and Sophie was really lovely to come out and do our makeup. But yeah, that's just my personal opinion on in terms of how much people are charging. I just think, like, mate, like, come on, like, on the day of judgment, like, how are you gonna justify that? Like, it's just and that's, you could say the same for like lots of other things as well, but like, I mean, I'd rather spend like a grand on a dress that has been intricately made and taken hours and hours and hours to make by hand, and you know, I can then pass it on to my daughter so I can wear it again one day maybe, than just for makeup. But that's my personal opinion. Maybe it's a bit of a controversial opinion, but let me know what you guys think. Somebody else said, how many dress fittings did you have? I only had one because, like I said, it was quite short notice between the time we started planning to the end. So I only went once back to get my dress fitted properly when the dress arrived back from India, which is where it was made, and I was very, very happy with it. Actually, it was a little bit too tight on me because I was working full time. I was still, to be honest, I wasn't like on this crazy bridal diet. I wasn't like hitting the gym every single day. I was trying to do my best, but I still was like a little bit more plump than I perhaps hoped at that time, like a month and a half before my wedding. But then within like that month, I did end up just dropping weight naturally from the stress of it all and the lead up to it and the build up. I did lose weight. So yeah, it was a little bit tight. I didn't ask them to loosen it because I just knew that, I know my body, you know, I know that I would end up losing a bit, and alhamdulillah, I didn't get them to loosen it because otherwise I would have been drowning in it. And I think that both my dresses fitted me really well. Somebody said, could you share the company's used for events like your caterers, decor, etc.? Definitely, I definitely will do it in a separate video. I'm going to be talking about the little touches that I added to my wedding to make it what I feel like is one of the nicest weddings that I have been to. And that's like, sounds very biased and like maybe big-headed, and that's not how I wish to come across at all. But I do think that certain things that I planned into my wedding really made a huge difference compared to some weddings that I've been to. So I will definitely be doing a video on that, don't worry. Next question is how to choose an MUA. Again, like I said, like, it's a very difficult one because there's so many MUAs on Instagram, of course. That's like kind of where we get a lot of our inspo from and our information from. But they're, like I said, first of all, a lot of them are out here charging a stupid amount of money just to do a makeup, and I don't think that anyone should feel like they have to pay that much money. Secondly, unfortunately, a lot of them are editing their pictures. The best thing to do really is to speak to the brides that you know that live locally to you and ask them for their experiences, ask them if they were happy with the makeup that they had done, like get them to tell you how they felt about the makeup arts they use. And then, you know, if you're happy with the look they created for someone else and you check out their Instagram, you're happy with their work, then contact them. But if you are like in my position where there's no one that lived local to me that had used a makeup artist for their bridal makeup, then it is more difficult. Use Instagram and make sure you try and use a makeup artist who shows videos of her clients and not just pictures, because it's very, very easy to manipulate a photo. Very easy. You do not need to be schooled in Photoshop anymore. Facetune is like a brilliant app. I use Facetune sometimes, you know, to just literally tune little bits of my face, like smooth out my wrinkly under eye, or like make my eyeshadow pop. But there's people out here who are like completely editing their pictures to another degree, and it's just not right. So it's very hard to lie through video, it's very hard to hide things through video. So definitely make sure you're using a makeup artist who's posting videos of her looks. That's very, very important. And then if you can have a trial, have a trial. If you can't, if it's not possible, just try and speak to the makeup artist, see if they can understand what you want as well. And also a lot of like makeup artists will be putting up like testimonies and reviews and stuff like that on their pages, so just have a look and see, you know, you'll get a feel for what a makeup artist is like based on their page, based on the way that they respond to their followers, based on their personality. So I love Sufi, she's amazing, like skincare, makeup blogger and a makeup artist as well. She's self-taught, she's a teacher as well, she's mashallah, she's amazing. I was really happy to have Sufi, and I also really wanted Fatima to do either my wedding makeup or my Valima makeup, but she wasn't available on either of my dates, so I was so sad, and I really wanted my hijab stylish to do my hijab for either one of the two events. But again, because of the short notice and the less time that there was to plan, they were both booked up. And the next question is, what was the hardest thing about planning? I think the hardest thing is having to make sure that you are balancing everything for the day along with your full-time, but at the same time it wasn't too difficult because I literally wrote every single thing down. I made list upon list upon list in my wedding planning book, and having it all in one place just helped me so much. So yeah, it wasn't too hard, but I think you have to not let it become too overwhelming, and you have to take each day as it comes. And yeah, don't think that you can conquer like 40 things in a day. That's just not realistic. But start with the big things, like the venue is the biggest thing because of the date, the dress as well, and then like the makeup and stuff, and then everything else will inshallah fall into place after that. Next question is, what could friends or family have done to make it easier, less stressful? And then she asked, what did they do to help you from turning into Bridezilla? Genuinely, I don't think I was a Bridezilla at all. I think I was like as calm as a bride could be, like in the run-up and also on the day. But in terms of like what they could have done, is literally just be there to support. We had like a little, it wasn't like a dolki as such, it was just more of a dua gathering with like all my aunties, all my female cousins, and my nani as well at my house, and it was so nice. And that was just such a like warmth of support and love from them, and that really helped me to like sort of keep calm, because that was like the week before the wedding. And then in terms of my friends, like they were over like a couple of nights before the wedding as well, and just like, you know, just talking and like doing our nails and like doing mendi, and it was just nice to have them around. I think that it is an overwhelming thing, it's a big change in your life, and that time before the wedding is so precious that you just need like your friends and family to like rally around you, and to also turn it into a time to make really lovely memories. Like I'm always going to look back fondly at the weeks before the wedding, because it was when my when everyone in my life really sort of pulled through, and that means so much to me. And in terms of like turning into a Bridezilla, I would say that we, on the day, like there was not really specific roles as such, but I would, if it was something I needed, I would just, you know, ask one of my sisters or ask one of my friends. Like literally on like when we were sat in the bridal chair getting my hijab done, my friends were like putting my nails on, and they were just there, basically. They were just there for me, and that's what you need. You just need them to, like, if your sister, your cousin, or whoever's getting married soon, just try and be available for them. I've heard like really horrendous stories about bridezillas and people who just turn into like monster versions of themselves because it's a wedding day. I think that's such a shame, because then that's all people are going to remember of your wedding, is like you turning into someone that you're not really. Try and enjoy it. Like, I know it's stressful, I know it's a big event, I know all eyes are going to be on you, but at the same time, like, you want to look back on it with fond memories, you want your loved ones to do the same. So yeah, just try and chill as much as possible, and just remember that like things are going to go wrong, and it's never going to be the end of the world. Next question is, would it be easier to get a wedding planner than do all the wedding prep yourself? I think this really depends on you as a person. If you're somebody who gets overwhelmed quite quickly or anxious quite quickly, or if you're someone who finds it difficult to manage a full-time job and also planning and organizing a big event, and you don't have that much support around you, then yeah, like that's what a wedding planner is there for. They will listen to what you need and they'll get what you want. But personally, I couldn't trust anyone else to do that for me. I just wanted to have that control myself, and that's having that control and the ability to decide what I wanted, the brands I wanted to work with, the look I wanted to go for, like obviously with my family's input as well. That's what kind of kept me calm. I feel like if I had like a third party in between, I would just be constantly like messaging them like, so what's happened now, what have you done now, da, 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 da. Like I needed to be able to do it myself to kind of cope, and I think that's a very personal thing. When should you start planning for a wedding? How well in advance? I say as soon as your bath bucky's been done, start planning, and then obviously that the conversation that will follow that will be when the wedding's going to be, what's the best time for both families. But as soon as you've had your bath bucky, as soon as your families have met and you know things are going to go forward, then start planning. And there's no like time that's too early, but like I said already in a previous answer, I don't think you should wait like so long before the nikah, like for Islamically as well, but like just for like your own mental well-being as well. I feel like having the nikah and then like planning afterwards is also a good thing. Like for example, we had our wedding on 22nd December and then I believe it was the 13th of January, so it was almost a month later. It was like 3.5 weeks later, and so after the wedding, like we could kind of work together to make sure the Valima came together okay, and that was quite nice. So yeah, it's up to you, whatever works best for you, but I say like the sooner the better really. This is a really good question. Someone asked, how do you prepare yourself emotionally in terms of new changes and leaving the family? Well, to be honest with you, I don't think that I really had a chance to catch my breath, let alone prepare myself for that big step. And I'm not sure if this video is going to go up first or if my get ready with me is going to go up first for the base of this look. But like I said, like now, like, and it's like going to be 9 months in 11 days, inshallah. But like now is when I'm really feeling the shock and the change of leaving my family and like the emotional side of things, you know, like now it's really hit me because of the way that our story has panned out so far. I don't know if you can truly prepare yourself, to be honest with you. Like I feel like as much as, you know, you're excited for this new beginning with your husband and like all the new adventures and excitements that's about to come, it will hit you at some point, regardless of where you are in the world, regardless of how close or far you are from your family's house, that things have changed and they're not going to be the same anymore. And I think personally, I think you shouldn't dwell on it too much before the wedding, because then the whole wedding day you're going to find very emotional, very hard to really take in and very hard to enjoy. And I personally believe that you should enjoy your wedding day, both women and men. It shouldn't just be like the girl side are like really miserable and upset the whole time and the boy side are like woo. Like it should be like a celebration of two people coming together and two families coming together. And then of course the end of it's going to be a bit sad, it's going to be emotional, and everyone will be a bit upset on the girl side. But I don't think you should spend your wedding day like feeling sad. However, eventually that sadness will come and it will hit you, and it will either hit you like a ton of bricks or hit you like a fast moving train, and you need to give yourself time to allow it to hit you. You need to explain to your husband that it's not a personal thing at all. It's something that women have to go through. We go through so much, we sacrifice so much, and that's one of the biggest things is like when you move away from your family, and you have to explain to them, because they're men and they don't think the way we do, that actually like I don't want you to tell me that you know how to fix this, because there's no way to fix this. I just want you to support me, and I just want you to be there for me and hug me and hold me and let me cry, because the more you bustle it in, the more likely you guys are going to start having little arguments and things like that. And it's not for any particular reason other than you're feeling like overwhelmed at the change. So you need to be really open about it, and you need to accept that you're gonna feel sad for a while and it's gonna take time to get used to, but inshallah you'll get there. Like, and I think keeping busy is very, very important. A lot of people have time off after they get married. I didn't. I worked full time for 7 months straight after the wedding, but now is the first time that I've had any time off in a very long time, that I've not worked at all. And you know, I'm pouring myself into my YouTube, and I've set up our room here, and you know, I'm busy, but I'm not busy how I used to be busy, you know, and it's giving me a lot more time to think. It's not always a very good thing, because then I think that I can sometimes overthink and get really emotional, but I'm not going to feel bad for feeling emotional either, because I have the right to do that. You know, I've had huge life changes, and that's how I think you should be. And don't stop communicating to your friends, don't stop communicating to your family, or your husband. Don't block anyone out. That's the biggest thing. And last question is, what was the hardest thing to organize? You know, alhamdulillah, I don't think anything was like that hard to organize. I hope that some of your questions have been answered, and if you have any other questions, leave them down below. I might do a part 2, or I might just answer them in the comments. I've rambled enough, so I'm going to go now. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!